All right, so this is my first live test. Let me say that again, live stream test. Okay, so what we got here is a bug sucker. It's a LED USB fan deal. Little bugs go by there, attract to the light, and they get sucked in. Just got this off Amazon. I did a review. I bought 2 of these. I'm gonna have one upstairs, one downstairs, and hopefully it does what it's supposed to do. But I letters, emails I got from a guy. His name's Andre. He's from Australia, and he's been waiting patiently for me to get back to him. So I want to knock those out. But I want to test out Livestream and see what exactly my success rate is on it, and if my equipment's good enough, I can look at my pixelated, video image there and weep. So yeah, obviously a lot of my equipment is now 10 years old. This laptop. Windows 8 scared me, so I never upgraded. Plus, this might be too old of a laptop anyway, but if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So anyway, let's get to these letters. Before I do that, if you got a lot of fan mail or you need to get to some letter answering, and I got a hand that can write, it can also type, but it seems like some kind of work to me to be there writing, and you can do audio dictation as well. But the premier way of responding, I think, is a personal video. But what I'm saying is, if you're in a bind for time, a good thing to do is just answer with, "Hey, this is a video. This is me, and I'm getting to your well-deserved response here." Okay, so basically, Andre was selling on eBay, and he said, "Hey, anybody else interested in robots and stuff, just get a hold of me." And so I did that. So let's see. I'm gonna read his letter and I'm gonna respond to it. I think that's the best way. So if anybody else reads this, or even for myself, if someone were to hear me responding to something they didn't know the original purpose of the response was to, it would be highly confusing. So okay, I'm just like, So this is my first time I've live streamed. I don't know what's gonna pop up. And my channel has over 1 million views, but less than 1,500. Well, about 1,500 subscribers. So this is a Memorial Day weekend. It's May 26, 2018. So I think a lot of folks would be out, enjoying the nice weather and doing activities associated with the holiday versus tuning in to me. So anyway, let's get to this. Okay, so Andre's saying, "Hi, you found me. Nice to hear from you. I have a few pics of things that I get up to as a hobby. This is a YouTube video of the Air Force drone. It was said to have cost $100K US dollars, and made its function was to place some of this. I'm gonna self-censor here. Place devices so it can carry a payload of some sort, uh, but I would like to do a retrofit to modernize it, but the basics are there. I still have not opened the huge crate of ship from the USA. I don't have the room to safely look at it at too much stuff. I have my own electronics lab, but it is full as well. So I do most of my work in my office in front of the heater. You know, let me just respond to this. You know, after every paragraph. So you're kind of like me, Andre. You've got projects coming out of the rafters, and it's hard to get to them all, especially if you're working on other things and you're keeping your life and limb together, doing things. The basics. All these other projects and stuff, they become things that can be pushed aside and collect dust. So I get that. Yeah, as that drone is concerned, wait until you actually spend some time and resources into getting into it. Only thing I'd say is it's probably equipped to some sort of power source. You might want to take a look at that, see if there's something you need to put on a trickle charge or something like that. I'm supposing through neglect. No fault of your own. You're so busy, but you might regret that because it might be hard to find, especially for something so specialized. So I would check it out, see what kind of battery source or power source it uses, and make sure they maintain. Speaking from experience, I've had a lot of good batteries and things go bad because I've just set them aside. Power source, but if it is lithium and it's shipped internationally, there may have not been a power source. Maybe they removed that. Some industrial concerns won't send lithium because of the hazard it entails. Some chemical combinations of it are highly inflammable if the battery is damaged or overcharged, etc. You probably already know all that stuff. So maybe it doesn't, or maybe you already know that it doesn't or something. So anyway, let's get back to the letter. I have one hero. I have one junior, two hero, one T18s, one ET1, very rare, two arm trainers, ET19s, 2000 ET19, and Omnibot, and a few bots that are made of plastic. So they have no commercial use other than to tinker with, but are interesting. And the Abo, he means the Sony Abo. It was a dog robot. ERS 110, first Abo ever, and the Abo ERS 210. I had the Topo, but that was totally overrated, but very rare. Topo was a weird, not weird, I won't say weird, but Topo was an interesting robot, just the way it was shaped. You should go Google that if you don't know. TOPO. I think it came out in the early 80s. I have a book on robots, so that's how I know that. If I can find that, I might show that real quick to the camera. I don't know. Anyway, it's called The Personal Robot Book. It's a pretty interesting book. Author's super interesting. Anyway, so let's see. A large collection. And continuing, he says a large collection of classic pinballs in my Star Wars Atari cockpit. So that's a game enclosure. And a set of 3 original Wurlitzer jig boxes 1015, 1100, 1080, and 5 wall boxes. So those are music playing consoles. That Wurlitzer is a very famous and expensive brand, so he's got those. And it says my project is a Woz watch made of Nixie tubes. I own the trademark for that. It's spelled WOZ. and we'll show you my prototypes. They're super popular. Those are his Nixie tube watches, the wrist watches, but they run off a Nixie tube. So he's real proud of those. Also collect and study survival equipment that could easily be used in military or personal use. This is all just a small part of my research division I like to call Area 51. It occupies an entire 160 square meter level. So the video of the drone is called the Helo Hauler, HELO. The next word is hauler, HAULER. And then another video, it's another word is called video, but he spells it VEDIO underscore 0002. So that's on Vimeo. If you folks want to check it out, but research it. I've seen the video. It's quite impressive. It's very impressive gadget. And I'm assuming it's on Vimeo, so he doesn't really mind it if it's seen by the masses. Okay, so that letter's out. So yeah, no, I have a lot of equipment, so much so that it basically pushing me out of my own house. So I understand what it's like to have a lot of things going on. But yeah, what do you call all those different? I mean, obviously, all those jukeboxes and things. I mean, you're an enthusiast. I have several solid state radios and transceivers and things like that. And logically, you only need one or two. And if you have more than that, you're an enthusiast. But yeah, especially the old stuff, it's in various states of usability. And then some things you don't want to use because they're too rare, and it becomes a whole thing. So I get that. And yeah, as far as having a research facility and stuff, yeah, obviously. You're doing a lot better than I'm doing. I actually have a shop, but it's kind of parsed out in different areas. It ought to be consolidated. In fact, if I could, I'd rather have like a garage and like a bunk bed in there, and the garage would be my shop. That's what that's what I need. I don't need a house. I need like a garage I live in. Anyway, so next letter. These are out of order. Okay, so I sent him some of my qualifications because he's wondering, what I'm capable of. He's fishing to see if I could help him with some things. But so that letter was me to him about some of my transcripts and things like that from the military and whatever. I was actually a trained drone operator, so that was the point of that, and electronics technician and whatever. Other things. Let's see. Oh, this is a big letter. Okay. So these are kind of out of order, but there's only 3, 4 of them, whatever. Okay, so hi, Nate. The last email with the sound recording was actually quite funny as I was checking my sim to find out why I was not getting audio. I know, but it's the funniest thing I've had all day. I've always worked best alone, so really the net and YouTube and the news, email, and Facebook are my communication with the outside. Sounds like I'm going for a job on Mars or something. Well, Andre, there's a lot more truth to that than most people would admit to. Okay, so he continues. The drone, I believe, I can make something worthwhile of, but you need pilot's license to use one. I live in the city, so I can't design within the proximity of Sydney Airport, but for educational purposes, yes, especially if it's ex-military. I have not seen that stuff even as an engineer working for the likes of Google and top organizations, actually. But what you get to work on is nothing exciting. Google was good, but not for a keepsake job. As I just like working for myself anyway. It's definitely me and what I'm about, as I like to tinker with expensive, complex devices. I need to pull out my NASA stuff as well, as I have a few items to mail to you, so you can print them out into stickers and put them on boxes and make yourself look important. Hee hee hee. All right, yeah. No, I've did some interesting things too for uh, different places, and you know, it's not like the movies, that's for sure. It's a lot of, well, in my situation, it's, if I were to look back and think of all the things I've done and whatever, I've been different people at different times, different hats for different reasons, and so I get you. Okay, so continuing. The year 2000 is a very nice bot. He means robot, especially if you have all the manuals and chips, board, drives, and keyboard. I don't have the disk drive, but they were actually not cheap ever, and sold on Doer's Robot Workshop or some hero website where I got my ET18. The guy was only a few suburbs away, and I built it himself, so it was not a workshop model. Um, his soldering was actually top rate. Where did you manage to get your bots from? Okay, so I'll continue. The one I bought from the guy a few suburbs away, I did really well with the 1T dash 18 remote. They're not cheap, and I just let it gather dust. I had to pay bills, and that love affair was broken of real quick. We'll get into the bots at some point, as I really need to also meet persons as yourself, as I need to exchange ideas and how to put them together and get more manuals, etc. All right, so I'll respond to that. So Robert Dewar, I bought things off of him. As far as I know, I usually probably already know this. He bought out the Heathcote robot line, and he owns all the copyrights and stuff to all that stuff. And he still does repair work and sells the remaining part stash he's got, and he's made up some boards and things and whatever. As far as the manuals and things I've got a stack. I've got a lot of the original ones. I don't have any of the blue books, the original company maintenance stuff. I know Robert does, supposedly. Obviously he does. He's got all the copyright. So I'll have to dig out. I literally dig out what I have, and we can see where we can go with that. What else? I've got the keyboard as well. Mine has a disk drive on it. Where I got it, it was eBay. My best understanding was electronics enthusiast. Let me shut this down. I think there's a bright light that comes up when I'm reading the letter, because it's a Google Gmail, and it's a bright background. And Bryson's my face up. So I got my Hero 2000 from eBay. I think I paid like $1,400 for it. I think it was a case of a widower trying to clear out her ex or her dearly departed's hobbies out. I don't know if it was a personal build or a factory build. And when UPS, that's the shipping company here. Oh, you probably know UPS here in the States. It was not packaged properly, and the UPS roughed it up. So it's got a couple dings and dents in it. But other than that, it was pretty pristine, and I put a new battery in it. It worked just fine. The problem was it had a lockout code, and that took a while to, I guess it's in the manner how to do it. But yeah, you put in a personal PIN number and to unlock it. So that was fun to undo that. And I have a video on that somewhere in my video archives, and it would say, please enter access code, and that robot voice of itself. And what was I gonna say? So I think it has all the options. I also bought the expansion board. It's still in the box. I haven't installed it or anything like that. As far as damage is concerned, that I think it either a resistor or a transistor or something like that blew on the charging circuit board. And so to keep it charged, I have like a workaround. But it has the auto dock and stuff, but it won't charge until I replace that, or either get repaired or try to attempt to repair myself on the charging board. But that requires disassembly and a whole bunch of time, and so it's limping along okay. So, but my guess is if I understand you right, that the factory built ones had a disk drive. So this one does have a disk drive, and it's not the 3x5. It is a 5-inch floppy disk, and like that. So we'll continue here. By look of on your CV, you're a break fix engineer working for government, which is good. My cousin does this type of work, but I'm not allowed to ask as it's classified, and I don't want to lose his job. But just over some general conversation we may have. Okay, so my background from all that info, I used to be a radioman aboard Navy submarines. I was on 2 different classes, and I did that about 5 years, and like that. And then for the Army National Guard, I originally trained as an operator, and then the facilities were lacking, and I was having spousal uh, lack of thinking incidents, and my lack of thinking. Just so emotionally, I chose to be an Army cook instead of a UAV operator, and transition to that, and big mistake. So I have many background experiences in doing things related to radio and electronics. We'll just say, and then things obviously I can't speak about either. All right, so he says, "Did I ever send you pics of me? These are about 8 years old, and I'm not as I used to be, as I was badly injured, so I stay in my house and stay in my office mostly these days. The photos bring back the memories, though. I'm interested in this fuel cell device you have and how you are progressing with it, but without schematics or someone who knows exactly what it is, I don't fancy your chances anytime soon. I'm working on my cold cathode tube project at the moment, just making contacts and seeing what happens, as they are actually very sought after, especially for tech guys as wristwatches." All right, so I uploaded a video on the. This isn't my first fuel cell. I've had several. And we're talking hydrogen fuel cells. They're as simple as complexity will allow. Is how I would frame them as. I don't have the schematics, but if you look a little in the description, you'll find a link to a university professor posted the manual for it, and the manual goes in very detail. The different components and how they work, and the theory of operation and the troubleshooting and things like that. So if you're into that deep in the wood stuff, it's there. I myself, I need to go over it and in depth, and know exactly what's going on. I have some other fuel cells and things like that. This is my first rodeo. But yeah, I mean, like I was just expressing, it's a time slash money slash interest slash being awake enough, especially about other obligations and things. I literally sometimes have no energy. I literally just go to work, go home, go to work, go home, 5 days a week, and then I have the weekend, and then especially during holidays and stuff like that, that might co-opt me into something and pretty soon the year's over. It's nonsense. So what I have been doing is I've been interested